Welcome back.
This is Nicole.
Megan.
And
Shiloh.
She made an appearance today.
Yeah, she did. Okay.
Very small appearance if you're watching this on YouTube. We are the Synchronicity Sisters. We help you change your brain to change your life. We take old programming that your parents gave you in upbringing, childhood, and we give you new programming to look at and help you change your brain so you can change your life into a better, stronger adult so you don't have to repeat the patterns that your parents did.
We look like a flower.
Oh, look at us.
Anyway.
Anyways, if you want to know more information, check out our website, synchronicity222.com, Instagram, synchronicity_sisters, and follow, share us, ask us questions. You know, we got lots of topics.
Be our friend.
Yes. And if you want to know more information or you're curious about our work, we have a ton of podcasts. We have class on our Instagram. And then if you are sitting at work and you're bored, you can watch us on YouTube, which is really fun. We're not that entertaining, but we're pretty entertaining.
Is it fun to watch us?
I don't know.
I don't know either.
People say that we should have a TV show. That's why we started our podcast.
Yeah.
So today we are talking about the four biggest what we call drivers in current society and current narrative, especially when it comes to the alpha brain, male or female alpha brain, particularly female alpha brain. They're pretty much ingrained into us, not only societally but as upbringing in childhood. If we saw our mothers do this, our fathers do this.
Can I side note something?
Yeah, hold on. Go ahead.
So there's all of this Instagram bullshit about sigmas. Sigmas. There is no such thing as a sigma.
Wait,
all these people that are
sigma man?
Oh, don't get an alpha man, get a sigma man and sigma women and
what's that?
They don't compete and they love blah blah blah. Alpha and betas are brainwaves. There's no sigma brainwave. So any bullshit that you see, it's people making shit up.
Okay, but what is it? What is the definition? I have not heard of this.
I don't know the definition. I have just seen weird shit on Instagram. You can look it up after.
It sounds like an alpha beta hybrid.
It's supposedly that, and somebody just named it that.
Sigma. Oh, they pick a random fucking letter in the Greek alphabet?
I don't know. But
Sigma alpha beta.
I was watching this chick talk about sigma men. You want a sigma man.
No, I don't.
I'm that's a beta bitch. I know alphas and I know betas because they're brainwaves in the brain.
Yes.
And you can't just make shit up. I mean, some people are you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to make shit up and then I'm going to slap some fucking name on it. And then I'm going to claim it's mine.
Spicy today.
It's annoying. Anyway. So if you see some bullshit about sigmas, and I'm probably going to get comments on
Send them to us.
I want a sigma. And I
want to see this.
No. You're with a beta bitch male, and you're trying to make him an alpha, and what he is a beta. So, alpha men are not betas.
Oh, God.
They're not going to do it your way. They're kind of assholes.
Kinda?
Kinda.
They're straight up assholes.
But this whole, sigma shit, that he doesn't compete with his woman and this and that, I'm sorry, chickadee chicks. If a man's not a provider in the relationship and you just want to make some shit up about him being a sigma, sorry, not sorry, you're dating a beta, get over it. So that's my 2 cents on that. I just thought of that when I was thinking of drivers versus allowers because these are prominent in alpha archetypes. And they're also prominent in betas because the alphas have these problems. So anyway, back to what you were saying.
Okay.
Now that I have said my piece about this stupid sigma crap.
Okay, so let's unpack that for a second because that's actually super important. So when we are referring to alphas, we're referring to a specific brainwave that an individual is experiencing. Alphas are born, so most likely parents, they are 9 times out of 10, their parents are alphas, and then alphas are born. They are not made, they are born. I don't care, that's science.
Beta parents can have an alpha child.
Correct. So betas have betas, alphas pretty much have alphas. Alphas can have beta children, though.
Yes.
But alphas usually make alphas, betas make betas, alphas can make betas. Okay, so now that we've cleared that all up, this is specifically...
Not sigmas.
This is specifically talking about individuals that live in that high alpha brainwave. So when you are in high alpha brainwaves, you are an alpha, like Megan said, you are prone to addiction. And if you are curious about this, we did do a podcast. We talked more about alpha brainwaves, beta brainwaves. So alpha mainly has choice and they have understanding of what's going on. Beta does not. Beta individuals follow rules. They don't have mind chatter. They don't have addiction. They don't struggle in society the way alphas do. And so we were talking about this the other day and I was like, oh, we should do drivers and allowers because it's so important, especially as alphas become stoics, to step out of the driver and into the allower. So the driver is what is driving the alpha forward. And it's when they're hitting these obstacles of like, this is how it should be. We're going back to shoulding, so blemishing, instead of coming into the allower that is that flow state, that stoicism. It's pretty much how a alpha becomes healthy.
Well, yeah, and it's also tolerance versus acceptance or rejection.
Yeah.
Like, we've talked about that before. Like, if you're tolerating something, then you're in a fucked up frequency. You reject or you accept through communication or just energy in general, like what's going on. So drivers are trauma, essentially.
Yes.
And allowers are like a healthy version of that. They're a higher frequency. But people, it's like that whole like, I'm so driven, I'm stubborn, I'm da-da-da-da-da. We need to stop making like personality problems. Like we're putting on a pedestal and like, oh, I'm so stubborn or I'm so driven and did it, especially as a woman. And you're just like, oh, okay. So you're telling me you're fucked up, but you're proud of it. Or you're trying to like make yourself like feel good. It's, Nicole and I mean, obviously we own a company where we're ambitious women. But I'm not here to be like, you know what, I need to be the richest, da-da-da-da. I'm here to pass what's been given to me on to the next person, and it's intention. And people that are driven want power. What we want is potency, and we want to help whoever we can learn the things that we have. And so I would not call us driven women. Maybe ambitious to want to help change other people's lives, but driven, just like, it sounds like driving a car off your cliff to me. It's like, because that's essentially what's going to happen to you.
Well, I used to be that way.
I'm a Taurus. I was never that way.
I was like a fucking hell on wheels.
Like, it's amazing that I'm an entrepreneur because like I was like, you know what I want to do? Be a yoga teacher and have kids. And like, here we are. Like, the universe has sick jokes.
Sick jokes.
Sick jokes. It's like, you know what you're going to do? Start a company. And I'm like, do you know what I'm going to do? Start a company. Yep.
That's what I'm doing.
That's what's happening. So you don't always have a choice in it. It's what the world demands of you, not what you want of the world.
Yeah.
That's the allowing.
Yes. And, that actually brings us to like the first driver is being perfect. Like, we talked in previous podcasts so much about like, perfect. No one has the perfect body. No one has perfect hair. No one has perfect toes. No one has perfect teeth. No one has perfect anything. But yet in our society, everything needs and should be perfect. And that is whack. Like, that is like when you think about it.
But plastic surgeons make a lot of money off of it. Same with like injections.
How many times are you going to get a tit job? They're always going to be uneven because a robot didn't do them. And oh, sorry, hate to break it to you. Skin is never perfect. Sorry if I just popped your bubble on that.
Not sorry.
Your boob job is not perfect. Your lips are uneven. Your eyebrows aren't perfect. And it's not even just like the outside world, but it's like your internal world. You're never going to be perfect at communicating. It's just showing up and doing it. And so much of it is like, instead of living in this mindset of perfectionism, like run harder, do more, push, it's how can I show up and be the best version of the excellent me? What am I doing in the sense of excellence?
Well, right. And that's showing up and, to the best of your ability every day. It's not about perfectionism. And honestly, like, I was very trapped in perfectionism when we first started this company because it was like, oh my God, like, it's not this or it's not that, or it doesn't
look a certain way.
It didn't look a certain way. Yeah. And actually, when I just like was like, fuck it, I don't care. Like, I'm not here to people please. I'm not here to tell people what they want to hear. I'm not here to placate or to be a certain person. And I just wanted everyone to like me. It was part of my trauma. And now, when I stepped into and you can probably say the same for you. It's like when I stepped into myself, it's not about other people liking me. It's like, do I respect and like myself? And then like, how am I showing up in that love and authenticity of who I am and what I have become? And that became more important. And that's when I started being dedicated and disciplined, and because it wasn't about other people, it was about my self-respect and like me doing what my soul came here to do and showing up, which is far more important than what anybody else thinks. Like what you think of yourself is far more important than what anybody else will ever think of you. And if you like yourself, guess what? People are more apt to like you.
Well, and like the whole perfectionism thing, like when you stop trying to be perfect, you become perfect. Because it's perfect, like it works. It's you're not hyper obsessed, and you're just like, you're like, oh, I did the best I could today, and that's where we're at.
When I stopped trying to be perfect, people actually liked me. That's what's funny.
Yeah.
When I was trying to be perfect all the time, I think I was just obnoxious.
Probably.
I was like, oh my God, I'm not, 112 pounds, like heaven forbid. I don't know why I thought that was always like my perfect weight, but like,
God.
That's like super anorexic for me. That's very, very unhealthy.
That's very skinny.
Yeah. But I was obsessed with like that number. And if I wasn't that size, I didn't love me, so nobody else could. And that was actually a reality because I made the rules. No joke. So anyway, next one
is try harder.
Yeah.
Okay, so that is, especially with women, we see that a lot. Like, do. I have to do more. I have to push harder. I have to try harder. And you even hear it like at the gym. Like people always, I'm like, oh my God. Once you start like observing these, they're everywhere in the world. Like, go. And it's like, okay, well, like at a certain point, like that doesn't feel good. So maybe I should just like chill here. Like this is enough. I don't need to like be unable to walk tomorrow. That because everyone, you got to pee, and like getting on the toilet, like you have to squat down, and if you overdo it and try too hard, then you're going to be real sore. And I think this was one big thing that early on, especially when we were building, it was like we were pushing, like we were like do, and then we like stepped back and we were like, oh well, like today we worked this, we got a lot done, we got a lot what was on our list, and it's consistency.
Well,
and it was enough for that day.
Try harder. It's like we're really taught that in schools. And I think the worst thing is that we're taught to focus on what we're not good at. People are naturally very gifted in different areas, but we're taught to focus on what we're bad at, what we'll always be mediocre at. Like if I was going to be a physicist, I would always, actually, I don't even think I'd be mediocre. I'd be like, I'd probably look autistic. Like legitimately, because it's just not what I'm good at.
Yeah.
I'm really good with, I don't know, talking to people, whatever, teaching yoga, those kinds of things. And if you try to put a physicist in like a yoga studio, and it's like, it's like the saying goes, it's if you measured a fish's usefulness on how it can fly like a bird, you're always gonna like never see the value of something. And so when we're always like, try hard, do more, do better, blah, 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 like not only is that super masculine, but it's also like even in the masculine, it's all anybody wants to know is that they're enough.
Yeah.
And like that is just so much trauma put into a child. And I still struggle with like, am I doing enough? Am I enough? And that comes from this driver of like, there's always, and it's true, you can always do more.
Yeah.
But again, it's knowing when enough is enough and like knowing like how to have balance, because at the end of the day, if you're a millionaire but you don't have any friends and you don't have a life, like what is the point? So, we really have to learn, and this is what alphas are not good at, balance and knowing like what will serve us and what is like going over the top and just like being way too extreme, which is probably why alphas like jumping out of airplanes.
Well, and
not me, but
I particularly think of this one when we are like really breaking this down. I also like your human design is also a huge part of it, whether you believe in it or not. Like I think of like Meg's a projector. Like sometimes her day is not what a man gen or a generator. Like I can go for like extended amount of hours. Like I can go and go and go and go. I'm a man gen. at a certain point, like Meg runs out of gas and she has to go take a nap. Take a nap, like take enough. It is enough. It is enough. That was a good slip, but you know, like that's her threshold of like, okay, that's where Meg is for the day. That's enough for her. And then, you know, I pretty much have to like run out of gas and fall into bed, and that's enough for me. And so, you know, it's also having this space of like, okay, well, what is your archetype, you know? And, you know, for generators, like generators can go and go and go. Well, their biggest thing is that they don't have a threshold of enough. They just can just burn out and then crash hard. But really finding your own threshold of what is enough and honoring that is huge.
Well, and these kind of go hand in hand because the next one is hurry up. And it's so funny because it's like, oh, you know, I remember growing up and, you know, normal people went to work at like 8. Yeah. And our mom would be up.
Not
like,
our house.
Going to work at like 7. Or, you know, like we'd have to be out of bed at 7 a.m. even if we got in at like midnight because we were being teenagers or whatever. It's like, it's, you know, if 8 is good, 7 is better. And it's like there's this constant like, and again, it's a lot like try harder. It's just this energy of like work harder. And actually a lot of people are talking about this on Instagram of like, you know, hard work equals success. Like that's not true. It definitely hasn't been true for us. No. You know, there have been moments where we work really hard and we grind and we do that, but there's also like flow state, especially as women. We're not men. And I don't need it to look the way that our parents think it should or that the older generation thinks it should. Like, you need to do this and this and this in order to be successful. Like, that's not true. I don't need to be up at 5 a.m. busting my ass, killing myself in order to find success. And that's been a very big, like, shift for me is because I didn't know what working easy was like, have a plan of what you want to do the next day, get it done. And when it's done, like, you know, if something pops up, you can get that done. But then also then you have time to go to the gym. You have time to cook dinner. You have time to like walk the dog and take time to yourself because life is about balance. It's not this like what you put in, you'll get out. That's not the way the universe works. And, you know, if you don't have any joy or love in your life, then what are you really getting out of it anyway?
Well, and like, this one to me, it's like hurry up, especially like it's entrepreneurs, you know, like I always come back. Rome wasn't built overnight and it didn't fall overnight. And so it's that consistency. And it's like that, you know, we talked about like the last podcast, we talked about like the slow burn. Like that's how it is. It's like the slow build. Like it doesn't hurry up. Like where are we going?
Well, it's about the journey, not the destination.
Right. And like if you're hurrying up, you're most likely, if you're doing something in a rush, which when I hear hurry up, I hear rush. Well, go.
You're also like not appreciating the moment. You're not in the moment. You're either in the past or in the future. And like that's not healthy because you're never actually living.
But also, I also see it as like a poor foundation. You're not going to be able to work easy if you're putting down a horrible foundation of like, hurry up, do it fast, quick, blah, 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 blah. Like nothing, you know, it's like building something on sand. That's not going to happen. Like you can't you can't build something sustainable long-term if you are moving so quickly that you're not even observing what you're doing.
Yes.
Yeah. So when you're working easy, you're working in the moment and you're working for long-term instead of like right here, right now.
And that brings us to please others first. And that's a thing in our culture, especially in wounded feminine or wounded masculine. It's just like we have this, women don't know how to use their voices. I didn't know how to use my voice. It was always like, if I please other people, then they'll like me. And that's why I was a doormat and a people pleaser. I had no idea of the concept of like love yourself first or put yourself first because, you know, it's I take care of me for you and you take care of you for me. It's that entire concept of like when we're taking care of ourselves and we're loving ourselves, we're actually the healthiest version of ourselves. Yep. And that one's kind of self-explanatory. Like, yep. And it's the first law that we teach people is like, you need to learn to love yourself, because everything else falls into place when you learn self-love.
Yeah, if you want to know more about that one, we did a whole podcast on self-love. It's like 4 or 5 down. But so that was Drivers and Allowers, to allow you to come out of perfectionism and this like crazy high beta state. But if you're watching us on YouTube, please like, follow, subscribe. If you're listening to us on Apple or Spotify, please, please, please share the show, like the show, leave comments. It does help the show out tremendously. And if there's anything you want to hear, please leave us a DM at synchronicity_sisters, or you can always leave a comment. Megan and I both check everything. So it's us, and we would love to do a podcast on a topic that you suggest. And until next time, bye.